Yeah, how's it going, guys? It's Richard Unicorn Caller here, and I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Today, we're going to be talking about healing, and there's a lot to talk about, especially for this new world of Darkmoor. First of all, 10 out of 10 for me personally. I absolutely love this update. It has been so much fun. So let's jump right into the gear and I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. So there seems to be a lot of focus on outgoing, which personally as a healer myself and someone that loves healing, honestly really shocked to see. So we can start off with the pins. If you guys don't know, they have power pins, shield pins and all that stuff. Now, you'll probably notice something about the mending pins. The mending pins all have gotten pretty much a buff, and that really depends on the type of school you are. So if you're Storm, you're going to have a lot of outgoing for your mending pin. But for Life had started off with like 29-ish outgoing for a mending pin, but now that has been jacked up all the way to plus 46%. Now that's just for the 180 version. The level like 170 or level 160 version, that would be at around 44% outgoing. So yeah, if you're level 180 and you manage to get this mending pin, you're gonna be dishing out a lot of healing. And if they had made a robe with a shield pin, that means you could also apply that healing pin to it as well. But this is basically what the build I have, still using the Inventor's Life boot, or the Novice boots, only for the critical only. Of course, if you want more resist, you'd obviously just go for the Stalker. However, you're going to take that loss for, you're going to take that loss of critical. Now, the thing is, over here, our mending pin is at 44%. And that was pretty much the first thing I noticed when I logged in the test realm. I actually had to at court and be like, hey, is this like a typo? Like, this just seems silly. And I couldn't believe my eyes that, wow, mending pins are really getting a boost. Now, if you're an ice wizard as well, you're also getting some pretty big mending pins as well, up to a plus 46%. And like I said, if you're a Storm, you should be getting a pretty big boost. If I can find it, in here, you can view all of them, or at least most of them, I believe. I'm not sure if I can find the Storm one, or if I'm just completely blind. Maybe I'm just completely blind, because all this stuff is showing stuff like, oh wait, balance mending. Balance wizards get a plus 41% outgoing mending pin, which is pretty cool. So yeah, there's a lot to look into. Death mending up to plus 37%, which is also awesome. Fire mending is at plus 27%. Yeah, this is all just really, really cool stuff. Yeah, I'm not sure if I see exactly the Storm mending pin in here. Myth pending, or the Myth mending pin, gets 33% outgoing. I think the Frenzy Gamer was super happy about that one. Yeah, pretty cool stuff. If I do find the Storm pin one, I'll let you know. Now, that's not the only thing that has changed. Some of the gear in this new update is absolutely insane. Now, the hats, I don't really care much about. I mean, it's still cool. It comes with a lot of critical. You're just going to take a loss of, like, resist. And pretty much the, other tier of the hat, pretty much similar to the Stalker. It's going to give you, resist and, no critical whatsoever. I'm not a big fan of the gear whatsoever. I think I would have to just play it a little bit and actually craft it myself just to see how the stats align up with it. But they're pretty good. But I have to say the one thing that did catch my eye would be the Athame. Now, one of my biggest gripes about, Wizard101 healing is that they kind of strayed away from healing gear. So check this out. I have the Dark Woman's Dagger, which is a legacy item. That means you can't get the specific version anymore. So the Dark Woman's Dagger has some, low level stats, except it has a base of 20% outgoing and 2 circle sockets, which you can put a 8% mending opal on, which I really hope, and I asked Court this, if they could just add a recipe for the 8% circle mending opal, that would be great, because these things are really hard to grind for. I know everybody told me to farm Rebel Mine and all that stuff, but it would just be so much better if we could just have a recipe for it. But yeah, this is the left side, the level 180 version, and this is absolutely insane, and this is a busted upgrade. So we got the Sanguine Monster Hide theme, right? It's gonna come with 1,319 health, 203 max mana, and 18% power pip chance rating, and 10% universal resist, and then 10% for your life damage. And this is the kicker. Check this out. The main substat for this is plus 22% outgoing, which is 2 more than the Dark Woman's Dagger, again, from like 10 years ago, that I've still been using to this day. And it gets even better. It looks like KI finally perfected an anthem, or a Atham, sorry, for Life Wizards, and I absolutely love it. And this could be a direct replacement and also a direct upgrade. But the sockets you get are tier socket, a circle socket, which again you can put a 8% mending pin on, or not pin, but an 8% mending jewel on if you're lucky to get one. And then for the square socket, you can also put another 8% mending pin, not pin, opal or jewel for that. Now for the triangle, you can put whatever you want for the triangle. I would probably put an unearthly shadow type of jewel on it, just to increase my shadow rating, because there is a lot of emphasis on shadow rating. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be what I will be farming for whenever this update does drop, because this theme is absolutely busted, and I couldn't believe my eyes that this was real. It took them so long to finally make a good outgoing theme. This is awesome. Another thing that's a personal pet peeve of mine, personally for me, and you've probably seen it in some of my healing builds, that I've always had to get that extra 2% or that extra 1% of a power pip. Well, check this out. This has an 18% power pip chance rating. That means if I were to wear this, I would have perfect power pip rating. At the 100 or 101 percentile. I have to check my previous builds, but this theme is absolutely perfect, and I really hope it stays alive, because this is a really good theme. Now the amulets, same thing. I think my Lively Nightmare amulet is a little bit better, just because it does come with 10% universal resist, and these are, a square socket, triangle socket on the level 180 version. I mean, they're not bad, so to say. I'm just personally not really interested in them. Maybe for the item cards, but I'm not interested in these. Now, the ring, I am also interested in. Check this out. Now, this is going to come with 168 max mana, so there's no health cap. Cap with it? There's no health stat, right? And then you get 23% power pip chance, which is also pretty cool. But check out the amount of critical you're getting. You're getting 48 universal critical, and then 48 life critical. And then you're also getting 10 damage for that. And then check this out. And again, I emphasize this about the outgoing being one of the main things about this update. That's a plus 29% outgoing. Now, obviously, as you see on the right side, again, been using it for a couple of years, stone on the other side still has a lot more outgoing. However, do keep in mind that I just said that the mending pins have been buffed, and we have a new theme as well. So I think that the loss of outgoing is definitely going to be worth it, especially since the level 180 ring also had a square socket that you can put another 8% mending pin or jewel. I keep saying pin, jewel on. or you can put a healthy jewel on. It's really up to your own opinion. And it also comes with 2 tier sockets, so you can definitely put a few item cards in there whatsoever. The decks are also pretty cool. I definitely am gonna craft the square socket because the square socket comes with Sun Shield and it just looks absolutely amazing. Same thing with the circle one. The circle one comes with a 10 to 8, so it's just pretty cool. All of this gear is pretty cool, but again, we really need that 8% mending jewel. But let me know what you guys think about all that, and yeah, I will see you guys later. And I really, again, you know, I really do love this update. This update is really fantastic. I think it's really fun. I absolutely think it's great. They did a great job with it. Oh wait, we're not even done yet. Pardon me, I'm not done yet. Oh no, sorry, I was trying to rush off. Let's talk about some of the healing spells. Okay, listen. If you're a myth wizard, you definitely need a farm for Grendel Amends. Why? Well, because they buffed the absolute lord out of it, dude. Previously, it was only at a base of like 760 or whatever. Now they buffed the healing. And this isn't a typo. This is real numbers. 1,000 at the base. 1,225 healing. For a myth spell that only takes 3 pips and a myth pip, basically the same ranking as like a satyr. This is basically like a satyr times 2. Like, this is absolutely insane. And like I said, if you're a myth wizard or even a life wizard, you can go for an accuracy type of build, which again, once I'm a level 180 and once I get the gear just to look at all this stuff, I'm telling you, this next healing build that I'll do for level 180 is just going to be nuts. But yeah, I love the buff for Grendel's Amends. This is perfect, and I'm definitely putting it in my deck. And let's talk about also Pigsy. Pigsy had been a little controversial lately. I've played it, I've tested it out lately, and I honestly do not notice like much of a difference with it. It's actually really good. I know a lot of people don't like it just because it is a divide spell now, but honestly, I just haven't really noticed much of a difference with it, and I don't know if that's just like maybe I'm targeting less than like 3 players, but honestly, I don't think that this is like too much of a crazy nerf, like this is like a crazy nerf, like Pigsy's dead. Like, no, this is actually pretty cool. And sometimes I really like to select target healing people just because some people need the healing, some people don't. But yeah, this is overall just a pretty cool, I guess, niche thing. This one might be controversial. I'm sure I'll get comments about Pigsy, but I think it's pretty cool. They also buffed up Spree Swarm as well, and if I'm not mistaken, they buffed up kind of the main, I guess, base of it or the utility of it, because now you can clear up to 2 traps, which you could always do, which is nice and all, but it's up to a plus 25% incoming increased healing. So I think that was one of the buffs that I kind of briefly saw in one of the other teasers. Now let's talk about Rebirth, the one I definitely am iffy on. Rebirth is very rough. Okay, so check this out. So now they pretty much just set it to 2 heal overtimes only now. So you know, this one's a little interesting. Previously, it could be up to 3, and then if you divided it, you know, it would be up to like 2 on each player. And there were some complaints about it being a little bit inconsistent with whatever the card was saying. So yeah, they just reverted it to a flat 2 heal overtime, and that heal overtime will be divided against all of your players. Now the buff is that, I guess, that it used to be a plus 15% universal blade, but now it's up to plus 20% for a universal blade. So it's actually pretty decent again, but you know, again, this might be another one of those controversial ones. It also kind of lowered the amount of healing it does by a little bit. It'll definitely take me some time to figure this out. I think probably the more concerning part is that, you know, the Storm Djinn, which is for Storm Wizards, you know, they need 3 heal over time. So if you cast this on a Storm Wizard, you're only gonna get those 2 heal over time. You would have to give them like a spree or another heal over time in order to get their gambit off. So I don't know. I mean, honestly, I think that they should just convert it back to 3 heal over time. I mean, I don't think it's that much of a big deal, but if that's something that they had to do, then, you know, I accept that. And technically, you can still do Twilight Fusion Path B, which typically I've always personally been using to begin with. But either way, I'm happy for it either way. I didn't see many concerns about Regenerate. Yeah, I don't really see much of a difference with Regenerate. But yeah, pretty much the main ones are like Rebirth, Grendel's Amends, and Spree Swarm, and definitely Pigsy. But yeah, everything else is pretty cool. And again, I'm just super excited for that 8th summer. And I just want to say, for any dev that's watching, you guys did a great job. I can definitely tell that you guys put a lot of care and love into this. And thank you guys for bringing back healing. It feels really good to finally be a little bit useful again, you know? It feels good, you know? I think that was one of my main gripes about some of these past worlds that we've been getting, is that there was never really a need for a healer. This world is not, I wouldn't say it's like too difficult, but it is like one of those things where it would be nice to have someone to give you a fairy once in a while. But yeah, that's my main take about the gear. Hopefully you guys are excited about it. Let me know what you guys think about that. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.